Hello, Siobhan, and everybody listening. I'm really happy to be doing this lecture on reading supplement labels. Obviously, supplements are a fairly significant part of how we're treating SIBO and other gastrointestinal and just other conditions just in general. And so knowing how to read a label and whether it's a good fit or not for you, and making sure your physician walks you through a different quality of labels and different things to buy is really important. So I'm going to go over a few of those categories today. So I've been a naturopathic physician for 30 years. I do have a BS in foods and nutrition from Arizona State University, and I also was chair of nutrition for 11 years at a naturopathic medical school. I also was gastroenterology professor, so this is right up my line. I obviously am a frequent lecturer at many medical conferences based on my gastrointestinal and hormonal expertise, including the SIBO SOS summits. I do have a practice in Tempe, and I do telemedicine if you live too far. I am also the formulator of several SIBO supplements that have been produced by Priority One. You can see them listed. One is a natural antibiotic, one is a prokinetic, one helps heal the gut and the nerves, the lining in the gut and the nerves, and one is a really good digestive enzyme specific to people who have SIBO problems. Now, here's the bottles. Okay, so why do we need to analyze nutrient labels? Well, we do need to know what are the ingredients and the quality, the amount, any excipients, the form, and you can see, we also need to know, is this a good company we can trust and where you're getting it? You know, what's sold on Amazon, I may look good financially, but you have no idea if it's what is in the bottle or is it expired or so forth. And so really staying a lot with whatever physician, whoever you're using, you'll know you'll be getting really good, potent, not expired supplements. These are what we're going to be talking about today, these categories. So let's go right into it. So in terms of a basic multiple vitamin mineral, which in the industry we usually just shorten to multiple. So when I just say multiple, I'm referring to a multiple vitamin mineral. These are the main categories that make a multiple, and they are a little different. I want to start off just with the USP formulary. The USP formulary is not the United States. It's not a federal organization. This is a private organization, and they guarantee three things when a product says USP, verified. One, that the capsules they're going to dissolve at body temperature in 45 minutes, that they don't contain microorganisms in them, and that the doses listed on the label are actually in the product, which, may or may not happen with all products, unfortunately. One thing to notice is that this doesn't say this is absorbed into your body in 45 minutes. It's just saying it's in your gut. It doesn't talk about absorption. And of course, that's a main key, is how is it absorbed into the human body? And so some of the bad things about the USP formulary is that the quality that they'll approve in these products is not good. They use very bad quality supplements, vitamins, minerals can be approved USP formulary because they're bad quality, but they break down in 45 minutes. There can be a lot of preservatives, a lot of just pollutants that we would say in the products, things like dextrose and lactose, things that, we don't really need in a multiple vitamin mineral. Not really high quality, as I said. So just because it says USP formulary doesn't mean it's really a quality product. If you want to read more about USP and this private organization, these are websites that you can look up on your own after this lecture's over. Now, there are other companies make a glandular type of multiple. So they'll use organic or conventionally raised meats or flours, yeast, other products, and then they're mixing them together, but they are adding in those USP formulary nutrients. So again, not very good quality. And such as a company like Standard Process. Now, I want you to know that I like Standard Process. I use many glandular products from Standard Process. So I'm not trying to really denigrate any particular company, but this is a kind of a glandular company that does make this type of multiple. Now, the soy-based type are known as, kind of try to say we're food-based product, but really these companies have a big soy vat, and in the vat they have a yeast called Saccharomyces cerevisiae. Then they add in USP, vitamins and minerals, those poor quality nutrients, and so the Saccharomyces processes them, and then they, concentrates them, and they say, and then they turn that into some sort of multiple vitamin mineral product. A couple things to know is that each of these products will have soy in them. So if you have a soy allergen, this product is not helpful. How do you know? Well, it's going to say in the parentheses that it's Saccharomyces cerevisiae is how they make it. Then you know it's a soy vat with this yeast added. I also don't believe that you can just have some Saccharomyces cerevisiae in a soy vat and turn USP formulary products into this magnificent quality, because I have Saccharomyces cerevisiae in my intestine with a lot of other fungus, with a lot of other organisms, trillions of them. But if I put USP formulary in my gut, it's icky. So I don't know how it's like becoming some magical quality product in a soy vat with Saccharomyces cerevisiae. So I am not really much of a fan of these soy-based products. That's my personal opinion. Now, there are some good food-based products out there where they literally concentrate foods and then extract nutrients from them, right? But they tend to have a lower dose just because, you do need an enormous amount of vegetables to get some of the major doses of supplements that we want to be nourishing the body or helping it heal or maximize its nutrient intake. But this is at least a good quality product. There's no soy, there's no Saccharomyces cerevisiae. It's literally just concentrated food. And then we have the standard multiple vitamin mineral, which most of us use. I use this one. Some people call it a chemical isolate type of multiple. And some of the benefits to using this is that they are very clean. You can get them really bad quality, full of impurities, or you can get from good companies very pure. No impurities, no allergens. They can be in very high doses for people that are deficient or who have been ill or have leaky gut, who may not be absorbing things well, and we just need to really be stimulating healing with higher doses of nutrients. They have good historical benefits for patients. I mean, if a person winds up iron deficient and we give them just iron in a pill, they're going to heal their anemia. So we do know that these are effective in people. They're easily absorbed. They can also be in the activated form that the body immediately can make use of. And that's, of course, very easy and helpful for the body. But there may be problems. For example, you can use a product like vitamin E that's not a good quality product in these companies, just as you can in any other one, like DL tocopherol is a synthetic E. That's not a good form of E. Ergocalciferol is in many vegetarian products, but it is not at all a good form of vitamin D3. It doesn't work well in the body. It doesn't last well. It's not a natural part of the vitamin D in the human body. So, but these can be in this product too, just as they might be in some of the other ones, right? Sometimes we worry that if we're giving a lot of one style of nutrient, that maybe it can interfere with the absorption of other forms of this product. But generally, people do really still do okay. And you have to also, you just have to be careful of just making sure that the proper dose is needed for each proper patient. Okay, let me just get the slide going. Okay, so with these multiples, you can get options. Maybe you want it with iron or without. Maybe you want it with copper or without. Maybe you want it, you don't want the iodine, although iodine is pretty important. You should want iodine. Maybe you want it to have a little more antioxidants, or maybe you think there's one for men, for women and children. And so all multiple vitamins can be broken down in these ways. Also, do you need to have a kosher one available for observant Jews or Muslims, or is your patient a vegetarian or vegan? Although most of the capsules now use veggie caps. So they, instead of a beef gelatin, food sensitivities. And then how do we want it to be? Do we want it in a liquid, in a powder? Do we want it in capsules and tablets? I mean, all of these are available and can be made particular to each way a person needs to best ingest the product. Now, aside from just the multiples, we have other nutrients as well. For vitamins, here's a list of, obviously, the vitamins that we need to get in every day, either through our food or supplements or both. Vitamin A. There's also carotenoids. And so carotenoids, ideally, we want mixed carotenoids. Some carotenoids are just beta carotene on a label, but we do prefer when they have a mixed different kind of carotenoids. Vitamin C is vitamin C. It's really easily absorbed, whatever really form it's in. You don't really have to pay a lot of money to get any specific form of vitamin C. Vitamin D3, which is, we want cholecalciferol, calciferol, and it should be matched with calcium, magnesium, vitamin K, and vitamin A. It's an interesting nutrient that actually has also some hormonal aspects to it, and so we need to get it mixed with all of the nutrients that work well with it. Vitamin E, ideally, again, mixed tocopherols, although if it does have just alpha tocopherol, we want it to say D alpha tocopherol, not DL. DL is a synthetic form and only half of it is active. D alpha tocopherol, all of it is active. Vitamin K, it's usually very little on most products in the micrograms. With osteopenic or porosis patients, we can go to 45 milligrams, but those are in specialty products. Whether it's MK4, MK7, they're both good, but for the bones, MK4 is definitely better, for sure. Biotin is biotin, thiamine is thiamine, riboflavin, there is an active form of riboflavin that would be nice to have on a label. I've listed it. Niacin is niacin. There's also niacinamide, and this is the non-flushing niacin. Niacin is contraindicated for many people who have gout, but otherwise it's a good product. If you're using very high doses to lower your cholesterol, you'd want to get an extended release, not short or sustained release. And then there's pantothenic acid, which is mostly pantothenic acid. Pantethine is another type that's not used very commonly. It had a few studies showing it helped lower cholesterol, but it's pretty expensive. B6, it comes in many different forms. That's the activated form of B6 that it's nice to have a little bit in the vitamin. B12, cobalamin, for sure, with B12 and folate, I really recommend you measure the homocysteine before you get a methyl tetrahydrofolate gene test, because having a gene doesn't say too much without knowing the homocysteine. So homocysteine, we look at folate, we look at B12. Now we want really methylated forms of cobalamin. Some labels may have adenosyl, which is fine, and some injections may be hydroxycobalamin, which is also fine. These are all three good ones that you can use with methylcobalamin, now most common on good labels. What we don't want is the cyanocobalamin, that cyanide molecule mixture of cobalamin. With folate, there's two main forms. The L-methyl tetrahydrofolate for sure, but don't forget that folinic acid is actually an acceptable form of folic acid. And for like the digestive cells, folinic acid is very helpful for healing digestive cells, and you can see the other areas as well. So if your product has folinic acid in it and you're a SIBO patient, that is going to be okay for you. Now, with the minerals, these are the minerals that we need as a human being. Now, I have iron in parentheses because we only want iron in a supplement if we need iron. Otherwise, in adults, taking too much iron can increase the risk for cardiovascular disease. So iron is a treatment nutrient. It's not a daily support nutrient, okay? But this is it. These are the nutrients that humans need. We don't need these kind of products. Now, this is a product called Concentrace, and any product that says, oh, we've got 72, minerals in it, all of these extra minerals, you want to be very wary of these and not take them. Look at the ingredients. First of all, try to find all of the ingredients of Concentrace online. It's super difficult. They don't make it easy to track all of these down. Why don't they make it easy? Because this is all of them. This is horrendous. Who wants to ingest aluminum every day, right? Well, I don't. It's associated with causing Alzheimer's disease. Why would I need arsenic? Or why would I need, here's bromide, fluoride, things that interfere with my iodine that is going to potentially cause problems with my thyroid gland. So, look at all of these nutrients that are here, nickel, tin. Would you give a product that contains lead on the label to your child? And if not, and I hope you're not doing that, why would you take it? Why would I take this? We don't need these products. We don't need anything about these products in our body, right? We just need the human mineral, that's it. Now, so minerals, your calcium is attached to a substrate, right? And so being attached to the substrate is what makes it very easy to get absorbed or very difficult to get absorbed. The most absorbable substrates are the chelated ones. And chelated means here's the mineral, and then all around the mineral is the substrate. It's completely surrounding the mineral. So however the mineral hits the digestive lining, and the digestive lining easily absorbs that substrate, the mineral goes right through with it. So chelated minerals are also small. They're easily absorbed. They're surrounded by the substrate. So they're best. And bisglycinates, glycylglutamines, or just glycinates are the substrates that you'll read on a label typically. There are some other ones, but those are common, that it's a chelated product. Now, 3 minerals cannot be chemically chelated, and that's selenium, potassium, and boron. And I know that from speaking directly with Albion Labs, which is the best chelating mineral company in the United States, and is used by many of our supplement companies. Now, bound complexes are next in absorption. They're citrate, malate, aspartate, and so forth. They're not fully chelated, but they're, the circle isn't complete, but they're still going to be absorbed pretty good. You would still consider these generally a decent absorbable amount of of the mineral if it has these sort of a things. Now you can say, well, what about magnesium citrate that we can use as a laxative? Yeah, but that's in pretty high doses, well beyond a normal ability to absorb. We can do that with vitamin C. Vitamin C is incredibly well absorbed, but if you plop 20,000 milligrams in the gut, you're probably going to get diarrhea, but that doesn't reflect on vitamin C. It's just the amount taken at one time. So proteinate, I don't think that would be a good quality. Salt-based, these are very poorly absorbed. So if you see minerals on your supplements and it says gluconate or oxides, you're not absorbing these hardly at all in any way. This is a deal breaker for quality. If your mineral substrates are gluconate and oxides, just a deal breaker. Just like cyanocobalamin, it's a deal breaker, right? Now, carbonates can be absorbed if you have very good stomach acid. If you don't have very good stomach acid, you're going to really struggle with carbonates. And amino acid chelate can be really good company or just garbage. I've spoken firsthand to another company that makes amino acid chelates, but talking with the tech director, it was clear it's just bogus chelation. He admitted it to me, just to sell chelated minerals to companies that don't want to pay the price that Albion might charge getting that upper quality chelated product. So you really want, if it just says amino acid chelate, you really need to know where did that chelate come from for you to feel comfortable about its quality. Now, I'd have a little, so here's the slide of better substrates, problematic substrates, and the unknown, the amino acid chelate. So if you've got a product that's got all these problematic substrates in it, just like magnesium oxide is not an uncommon magnesium crappy form. Magnesium hydroxide is milk of magnesia. It's so unabsorbable, we use it as a laxative. Magnesium oxide is not very far of unabsorbability in that regard. So, take a look at your products. I don't have too much to say about botanicals just because that's its whole other world. But when we're looking at botanicals, we're looking at what herb is being used, how much of the herb is being used. Is it a whole herb extract or just one product from the herb, like we just are extracting curcumin from turmeric, or are we just using turmeric? Sometimes we want to use one or the other forms. And then just how is it being used? Capture, tincture, glycerites, which are okay for SIBO patients, concentrated jams, gummies. All of these are ways we can get botanicals. You just want to bring it into your doc, whatever formula you're taking, and just have them analyze if it's really what you need at the dose you need. Like I've had patients who came to me and said, oh, I've tried ginkgo, for concentration, but it didn't work. But they bring in a capsule that's 40 milligrams. Well, 40 milligrams isn't the therapeutic dose for ginkgo to work in your body. It's more like 240. And just like drugs have therapeutic doses, so do botanicals, so do minerals, so do vitamins. So your physician, I hope, would know how to analyze your supplements and make sure that it's valuable for you. And with botanicals, that all of these are correct for what you're trying to achieve. With enzymes, so we've got pancreatin, amylase, protease, lipase, cellulase, disaccharidase. So pancreatin, amylase, protease, lipase, cellulase, these are all made by the pancreas, or they're from the pancreas. Disaccharadases are the only enzyme really made in the small gut lining, and these are what damage with SIBO patients, with celiac patients, in people that have damage to the lining of the small gut. In fact, SIBO bacteria actually produce a substance that destroy the enzymes that are made in the small gut. And so this can cause a lot of dysbiosis, other bugs growing, and also just a lot of gut symptoms from maldigestion of the disaccharidases. This is why all the diets are mostly trying to remove disaccharidases for a while. You should be able to add them back in the not too distant future. Alpha galactosidase, also is known as BINO, is very specific long chain carbohydrate for bean digestion, and also many people use it for like cruciferous vegetables if they get very farty from broccoli, cauliflower, kale, Brussels sprouts. This enzyme might be helpful in that regard. And then ox bile, which is not an enzyme, it's made by the liver. Well, it's not ox bile. I mean, bile is made by the liver and dumped and stored in the gallbladder. This is an emulsifier because fat is a very big globulin molecule. It's got to be broken down into smaller globules so that the lipase from the pancreas can break it down. So bile is that kind of emulsifier to allow that. And if you don't have bile production enough, eating fats can easily cause problems with the gallbladder. If you have a gallbladder, pain, biliary colic, cholecystitis, or if they took the gallbladder out because of stones or so forth, if you eat fat and you don't make enough bile, you're going to get, you'll get diarrhea 15 to 20 minutes after you eat fat, like a roller coaster through your digestive tract. So it is, and also, if we're not absorbing fat well, then we're not absorbing vitamins A, K, E, and D, really vital nutrients. Now, hydrochloric acid, whether it's betaine or glutamic acid, here's one thing. I am totally against the idea of taking a hydrochloric acid capsule, taking 1 per meal. Did I burn? No. Take 2 per meal. Did I burn? No. Take 3 per meal. Did my stomach burn? No. 4 per meal. 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, I burned at 8. Therefore, I just need 7 at a meal. That test was made up by a physician in the 1980s. It has no science behind it in any way, shape, or form. And I have seen for sure patients develop ulcers taking that much hydrochloric acid on that burn test. Also, too much hydrochloric acid, when it gets dumped into your small gut, I mean, the small gut has to neutralize that with sodium bicarb that comes from the pancreas. And if it can't neutralize an enormous amount of hydrochloric acid, then the digestive enzymes that come from the pancreas will not be active because they can't work in an acidic environment. Now, there's a Dr. Nigel Plummer. He's an English researcher, and he did studies on hydrochloric acid, measuring exactly how much we really make at a meal, which is 2,200 milligrams, right? So if you're if you're hypochlorhydric, in other words, you just make low stomach acid, you make stomach acid just not enough, you probably just need 600 to 1,200, which is oftentimes 1 or 2 capsules. If you have literally no stomach acid production, I mean none, 0, then you need 2,200, maybe 18 to 2,400 is what you need to replace it physiologically. So I want to use science with my patients. You don't need more than 1 or 2, most of you, if you need hydrochloric acid with meals. And if that's not working, then there could be some other things going on. But enormous hyperphysiological doses of hydrochloric acid is not a benefit to your stomach or to your pancreas or to your small gut lining. Now, hydrochloric acid is not a digestive enzyme anyway, right? It activates pepsin. Pepsin is a digestive enzyme in your stomach. So there's you can get digestive enzymes from pepsin is sold just by Dr. Clark's store, just sells pepsin. So if you need more digestive enzyme, of your protein who then don't stick a bunch of hydrochloric acid in you, just go get pepsin and don't get an ulcer and don't whack out your pancreas. So hydrochloric acid also kills organisms, closes the lower esophageal sphincter, and of course helps absorb nutrients. So it is important to have hydrochloric acid. We just don't need too much. We can also use gentian, which is the #1 herb that stimulates hydrochloric acid production in the stomach. Scutellaria, those are a combination that's been used for 100 years in naturopathic medicine. Scutellaria is anti-inflammatory. Gentian promotes digestion. Apple cider vinegar, many people use. One thing with apple cider vinegar, you put it in some water, use a straw. Don't be drinking a lot of apple cider vinegar over your teeth. It's not good for your enamel. So sip it with a straw, bypass your teeth, and save your enamel. Also, just in general, gentian is a bitter, but there are other bitters that are very good, and there are bitter formulas that are very good. You can get them in a tincture. You can get them in capsules. And that'll support both the stomach and the liver gallbladder. So, how much do you need? Well, there is a stool analysis that many of our specialty stool tests do, but you can do it through your regular insurance, is a pancreatic elastase 1. So pancreatic elastase 1 measures how much pancreatic enzymes your pancreas makes. So if it's over 500, honestly, you don't really need a lot of pancreatic support. You're making it. If it's 200, your pancreas is struggling and it may be seriously impaired and need a very high quality product. For example, there is a condition called pancreatic exocrine insufficiency. When your pancreatic enzymes are really not being produced, you're having fat and other malabsorption. And then, this product, Vital Nutrients Digestive Enzymes 500, is the strongest enzyme that I know of on the market. Stronger than Digest Gold and all these other ones. Now, super ultra enzymes, this is even stronger. So if your doctor measures your pancreatic elastase 1 and it is super low, you need that kind of an enzyme. Otherwise, if your gallbladder, we might just need to give you ox bile and lipase, maybe with some herbs in it that can help with stimulating bile production. As I said, Dr. Clark's store sells just pepsin, which is underused by many people because we're over HCLing our stomachs. You've got enzymes, and then you've got small gut disaccharidases, such as SIBO. SIBO is unique that it does contain disaccharidases, which are what SIBO patients and people with damaged small gut linings, can't really produce and are not necessarily in typical pancreatic enzymes since they aren't a pancreatic enzyme. Okay, moving on with supplemental oils. Our main supplemental oils, the one we really care about, are EPA, eicosapentaenoic acid, and dicosahexaenoic acid, otherwise known as EPA and DHA. In general, my starting dose is wanting at least around 1,000 EPA and maybe around, you can see 500, 750 DHA or more, but that's like my starting daily dose. They have to be pure, distilled, clear of toxins. It's nice to have the fish listed on the label so we make sure that we can handle those fish. They come in many different forms. In capsules, which are very popular, you can freeze the capsules. And then when you take them every day, you take 2 of them, they'll get out of your stomach generally before they thaw. And so it really decreases burp up if that's a problem with you. Also, our really good companies tend to have a lot less burp up than maybe companies, God forbid, selling rancid oils and so forth. You can also do flaxseed oil as well. About 15% of flaxseed oil will become EPA and DHA, so it isn't as good as a fish oil, but if someone won't take a fish oil, it's okay. The gamma-linolenic acid oils from those herbs, from those plants, work on a slightly different pathway, but can also be anti-inflammatory. They're coming from the omega-6 pathway, not the omega-3. I mainly use them with skin problems and female reproductive problems, sore breast, PMS, things like that. But otherwise, I really want to push that omega-3 pathway. I don't use GLA oils very commonly. Then, of course, we have medium chain triglycerides, which are easily absorbable. They're in our elemental diet. They can be, added for easy weight gain and so forth. Now, the supplements come with stuff added to them sometimes. Some of them are a problem, some of them are not. They're called excipients. Now, lubricants, so magnesium stearate, which is also a binder. So this is only found in tablets, where we have to bind the tablets together and then lubricate them through the machine formulators, right? So this magnesium stearate, if you can read what I wrote, if less than 1% of mag stearate is added within the last minutes of dosing, it doesn't have any problem with dissolution and absorption. Now, when I have certain tablets, for example, my best, I think, in the world of integrative medicine, naturopathic medicine, the best natural antibiotic is a product called the BioVegetarian by Priority One. I've been using it for 30 years. It is so amazing. It's stimulating the immune system. It's a little high in cayenne, and if that's a problem, you can just take their capsulated product, which is called Biotic Extra. But their BioVeg is a tablet, and it contains magnesium stearate in it, as really all tablets will. All tablets from Metagenics has magnesium stearate in it. These products, BioVeg is incredibly well absorbed. Now, magnesium stearate is also in meat. It's a meat fat. So, we can digest meat and we can break that fat down. So I personally don't worry about magnesium stearate. I know the tablet I use that has it in it is enormously effective for my patients. So it's not really what I worry about. Now, polyethylene glycol, yeah, I don't want that in there, for sure. Now, so as a binder, stearic acid, magnesium stearate, I'm okay with that. And some of these other ones in the binder category, like I'm not okay with. Now, dispersants. So if you see cellulose or methyl cellulose or microcrystalline cellulose or cross-carmellose, so these are just sponges. There's cellulose as a sponge added into the product or into the gel cap, so that when it hits the stomach, which is full of saliva, you have no idea how much saliva is in your stomach, it's going to absorb that water and it's going to expand it and break the product open, right? So it's going to break the tablet open. It's going to break open the gel cap. So there's nothing the matter with having cellulose or methyl cellulose in there. They're all just natural dispersants. The sodium lauryl sulfate, shouldn't be in an oral med. It's, in your hair. We don't really like it. But all of the celluloses in a capsule should be okay. Color agents. Well, there are some good color agents. They might use food, like beet, to make a red color. I don't care if they're using food colors as coming from food, right? But the FD&C colors, we don't like those. Titanium dioxide is used to make something very white, very commonly seen in calcium supplements, tablets. So again, look at the color agents, but see where is it coming from. If it's real food color, okay. If it's chemicals, yeah, we don't like those. Fillers, silica dioxide is so benign. It's not absorbed. It goes right through. There are just some very safe fillers. Some of them we don't want in, but very commonly silica dioxide is used, and don't worry about that. Preservatives, well, ascorbyl palmitate is a vitamin C used as a preservative. Why would we care about that? But parabens, BHA, BHT, we do care about those. We don't want those in. So, again, the category isn't always the problem. It's what are they using in it? Sweeteners, of course, depends on the sweeteners. emulsifying agents like lecithin. They're using a lot of sunflower lecithin nowadays. There's honestly nothing the matter with that. Waxes like carnauba, you'll notice your cucumbers, you could scrape off a little coating, that's carnauba. Your apples probably have a little coating, that's carnauba. That is an edible wax. Obviously, you can try to get the organic ones that don't have carnauba. I don't really think carnauba is a big deal. But yeah, I have seen shellac in supplements. We shouldn't eat shellac. Okay, so, ideally get non-wax like organic produce. A little bit of, if you forget and you get a product and it has a little carnauba, okay. Shellac, no. Flowing agents. So the problem with sodium benzoate, which is also a preservative, is that if you take sodium benzoate and mix it with vitamin C, it becomes benzene, which is a super toxic chemical that we don't want in our bodies. So if your product has no vitamin C, or it's not a food that has vitamin C, if it's in a juice that has vitamin C, we don't want sodium benzoate, and just there shouldn't get sodium benzoate, and most product will have vitamin C in it, so not good. And there's other excipients, but those are the top ones that I just wanted to go over. So last, we'll show some examples. So now I like Douglas Lab, and I don't want, so please don't think negatively of Douglas Lab as a whole. I carry Douglas Lab products, but not this one, because this is chelated potassium. And if you remember, potassium, selenium, and borate cannot really be chelated chemically. So I don't know really what's going on here, but it's, it's a little, I never called them up, but it is unfortunate they have chelated potassium, and Albion makes it pretty clear that you can't do that. So now this is a Zymogen multiple vitamin, and you can see that the quality, here's the alpha and the mixed tocopherols, activated nutrients, and then you can see these Albion chelated complex. Where you see tracks is a certification of Albion use. And you do need to be aware of Albion. It is the best chelating company, as I said. So these are all, chelated products, okay? Notice, it's got good amounts of things in it overall. So good quality product. This is pure encapsulations, polyphenol nutrients. Why they don't necessarily have a lot of chelated minerals. They are all bound complex. At the top, there's, the carotenoid, if you can see at the very top, and then there's more carotenoids down here. They've got some antioxidants. It's a good formula. It's strong as well. And this would be also a very absorbable product. This is Centrum. This is what we want to avoid. Centrum, calcium carbonate. You really need a lot of stomach acid. Here's magnesium oxide, right? DL alpha tocopherol. Remember, we don't want that L. It's got cornstarch. Don't really sure we need regular folic acid, regular cyanocobalamin, hydrogenated palm oil. You don't want hydrogenated anywhere near your body in any way, shape, or form. And then we get the polyethylene glycol, the polyvinyl, who needs talcum powder? Talc. Who needs talcum powder in their supplements, right? And then notice here, stannous is tin. They have a toxic heavy metal in their product. They have food colorings, zinc oxide. We got another oxide, non-absorbable. So this is the epitome of a very poor quality supplement in every way, shape, or form. This is the Whole Foods one I talked about, where you see S. cerevisiae. So now it was made in that soy vat, right? And so some of them, here's again cyanocobalamin, here's folic acid, and then zinc, mineral bound. Like, what does that mean? A good mineral bound to what? An absorbable or non-absorbable form? I don't know. Do you know? We don't know. Not only that, but selenium is only 15 micrograms, where we're trying to get 200 micrograms a day. It's an amazing antioxidant. It supports the thyroid. So, you can't say it's terrible, I guess, but it wouldn't be what I would want my patient to take. Here's a fish oil called, this is krill oil. You may have heard it, Mega Red. And so one soft gel has only a total of 74 milligrams of EPA and DHA. 74. I mean, really? Are you kidding me? It's got some astaxanthin, but that's 17 micrograms. We like 2 milligrams. So I'm not really sure where krill oil got its name, or why people think it really is that good. And you pay more for this than for a fish oil. Now here's a fish oil from Zymogen. One soft gel is 900 milligrams of EPA and DHA. 900 versus 74. That's the therapeutic aspect of fish oil. So that's what we're looking at when we're looking at fish oils. Here's a Panflex 2-phase, a digestive enzyme that has a little hydrochloric acid, ox bile, and then a pancreatic blend. Kind of covers all aspects of digestion. It's a fairly good common product used by many naturopathic physicians. Here's digestive enzyme 500. What I said is, I think, the strongest supplement, especially with lipase. Very strong doses of lipase in the product, as well as protease and amylase. I think it's pretty, it's the strongest that there is. This is my SIBO just to show you that it's got the disaccharidases in it, which is, it's got good, it's got good lipase, protease, amylase, three capsules, a little bit of hydrochloric acid, and then the disaccharidases. So at the end, supplements are very necessary as a supplement to healing, to diet, to eradication of SIBO, to diet, to hydrotherapy, homeopathy, all these other things that we could do to help with healing. We are going to be adding in supplements. So work with someone who can look at the ones you have, analyze them, make sure that they're high quality. I always have my patients bring in all of their supplements to the visit, so I can look at them, and I like to educate patients. This is a good product. This is not a good product. And that way patients learn, and I can recommend better ones if they need, or keep them on the ones that they have if they're high quality. So I'm Dr. Mona Morstein. My contact information is Dr. Morstein, MORSTEIN.com. I'm in Tempe, Arizona. And thank you for listening to this lecture. Goodbye.